every single video I put out when I'm editing at 3 o'clock in the morning, before I hit send the next morning, to post it, I have said to myself, this is the one I'm not posting. Because it's not funny, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And to edit yourself, first of all, is a very strange, unnatural experience. To sit for hours and stare at yourself, pay attention to every way you say a word or sing a note or whatever. It's really trippy. So that's already weird, and by the end of it, I'm like, I don't know who this guy is on the screen. I don't know, the jokes are not funny. They were funny when I said them. I don't know what I'm doing now. I'm not posting it.
Hi, this is Kara, and you're watching Really Famous, where you get to know your favorite celebrities on a truly intimate level, because I was a therapist, so, Right now, you are really about to get to know Randy Rainbow. He talks about his insecurities, a secret crush, and why he feels like he's a failure. If you want to tap that like button, amazing, and drop a comment below about what you love about Randy.
I feel very fancy. I'm doing interviews, I'm autographing CDs. It's a very showbiz day. Yeah.
So how many CDs did you autograph so far?
None, because we found out the markers we got didn't work on the gloss.
Oh,
so they're running out to an art supply shop. It's a huge tragedy.
All right,
we're working on it.
That is a tragedy. We're going to start by showing the CD. So it's Hey Girl, It's Christmas, which is perfect for you.
I mean, it's kind of on the nose, but we like it. It's been a dream of mine since childhood to record a Christmas album. Like any gay Jew, I'm a fan of Christmas music. And so this was a long time coming for me, and I said last year, it was one of my resolutions. This year I have a few projects I must do, and I don't care, by hook or by crook, I'm recording my Christmas album. And so it happened, and Mark Shaman and I collaborated on the title track. Of course, Mark Shaman, I don't know if your viewers are familiar with Mary Poppins Returns, Smash. I mean, he's a legend and an icon. So he has been threatening to collaborate with me for a long time, and this was the perfect opportunity. So I got to go sit in the room where he wrote Hairspray and Mary Poppins Returns and Smash and recorded parts of those things and collaborate on a song. And it was my first writing collaboration, my first collaboration on anything musical. Because I parody things, so usually I just sit home alone and rip off composers on my own.
I'm fascinated with that process, by the way. Because when I watch your videos, I'm always thinking like, okay, so right now, he's in a room by himself, probably.
Yes, usually.
And so you don't have anybody to bounce anything off of, right?
No.
Are you totally solo when you make these things?
Totally. It's me and my cat staring at me.
Okay, so tell me about your room. And we were supposed to do a podcast. We were going to do it at your place.
I know. I vacuumed.
It was ready. I got sick though, so it's my fault.
It's quite all right. You'll come back and
yes, for sure. But I mean, part of the thing is I was so excited. I'm like, I'm going to see the place where he does it, where the magic is. Yeah. So you have, what kind of equipment do you set up for yourself?
It's kind of, it's a pretty basic setup. It's not that impressive technically.
Yeah.
Like people always want, like you say, they want to come see like my operation. And it's really, it kind of just looks like that.
I figured.
Yeah.
I figured it's like my equipment.
Yeah.
It's not.
But nowadays you don't have to have like a big giant camera crew and like all this fancy stuff to make your art.
So what do you have, a DSLR camera? A video camera? You don't know what that is?
I don't even know.
Oh, okay, forget it.
It's like it's sort of a high-end camcorder is what I've been using. I could probably upgrade, but it's the one I've been using for, I'm a little superstitious and I like to stick with what I know.
Yeah.
So I have that, and then I have a little recording station with some paneling, and that's where I record the songs. And then I have a wall that's now painted in fancy green screen paint.
Beautiful.
For the first 5 years, it was me setting up like a green schmata in my living room. And now I've actually painted a wall green, so we're moving on.
It works.
Yeah.
Whatever you're doing, it works. I saw some of your old video clips too, and you can tell it was a little more rudimentary in terms of the technical here.
Right.
But right now, you have nailed it. It's professional.
Thank you.
Good stuff.
Well, I think that's sort of, it's still not, again, it's not much different as far as production from what it was in the beginning. It's a little more high-end. but not much. I think that I have kind of honed the craft of post-production and the editing a little bit more.
So you edit everything yourself too? Everything.
Yeah. Nobody wants to work with me.
Okay, but also you, I'm sure, know you can control everything yourself, and I'm sure you have you know exactly what to.
You know me very well. Yes, I am a control freak, and even collaborating on this Christmas album, Hey Girl, It's Christmas, was a little bit of a trip for me because I had to let other people into my creative process, and that was a good lesson because I'm not used to it.
Yes, and I see you at the computer editing. I mean, I've never, but I can see you in my head at the computer editing, knowing exactly, no, I have to change this a little, or this has to go here, right? It's all you, and since your videos are so well received, like, why would you mess with that?
Right.
But this is a new project, it's something different, so you need to expand yourself
You need to, yes, and I'm hoping that I will eventually expand these videos into an even greater production, and you know, it will find a home maybe on a Netflix or an HBO or something like that. At which point, they will likely team me with a group of people, and I welcome that, but I do have to start somewhere. Because
this is a good start.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Christmas as a young Jewish boy, right?
Yeah.
So when I heard that you were doing a Christmas album, I was like, okay, that's great. I'll ask him all about his Christmas traditions. And then I stopped myself midway. I was like, wait a minute, he's Jewish.
Yeah.
So what's up?
Well, first of all, every great Christmas song, as we know, is written by a Jewish person. And it's funny, I looked at my CD on Amazon, and you know when you scroll down to the bottom, it says, you know, all frequently bought with this item, and it was my Christmas album, Leah Michelle's Christmas album, and Idina Menzel's Christmas album.
Amazing.
All the Jews. I love it. And Barbra Streisand's Christmas album was a big one for me. So, and Mark Shaman is the Jew of life. So his joke was, you know, unless, you know, if it's not Christmas unless two Jews are writing a Christmas song in August.
Okay, perfect. And but I bet you did it before August, though.
We wrote it in August.
You did.
Yeah. This was a shotgun Christmas
August,
album. Yeah.
And it's November now.
I know.
Good for you.
I'm so thrilled with how it came out already, but then when you consider how quickly we did it, I'm pretty proud of it.
That you should be.
And it's just, you know, it's an extended EP technically. It's 7 tracks, so it's not like it wasn't 15 tracks or anything, but still. It's pretty good.
Okay, so growing up, and now I read about your grandmother was very important to you, right?
Very.
So I really wanted to get in depth about your childhood, but we don't have time for that today. So we're going to save that for when you have to vacuum again for me, and show me
But
your
she
dance
is,
screen.
even, I dedicate everything to her. Actually, 4 Irene Productions is my production company. It's all over the CD, and the little dedication is to Nanny.
That's awesome. Okay, so it says right here, and I can get a close-up of this later,
Yeah.
for Mom and Nanny.
Isn't that nice?
So
I'm a
what
real
happened,
mom's
what happened when it was Christmas? So like, did part of you feel like, why are half of the people out there celebrating and I'm not?
No, I always celebrated it because a lot of my family is Italian. My aunt, my uncle's wife, and her family, her kids, are where we would usually spend our Christmases. So they had a big Italian family and they did Christmas. So I never felt left out. And I'm a bad Jew. We didn't celebrate any of the Jewish tradition. I mean, we celebrated everything, but I'm a Hebrew school dropout. Technically a bad Jew. But we were all about festive celebrations.
Hanukkah?
So we had Hanukkah.
Okay,
But we also had a little Christmas tree.
Okay.
Yeah.
Same, by the way. Both. Okay, so.
Bad Jew? You're a bad Jew?
Well, I don't even know if I would say a bad Jew because I'm happy. You know, I have my mom is like more
Are you
related to me. I think we celebrated both, but like weren't deep into either religion.
Right. I think that's the best way.
Yeah, it was just a little like exposed to both sides, but not really practicing either one.
Correct.
That's how it was for me.
Right.
So Christmas movies, I feel like I heard somebody ask you about a Christmas movie already. Did somebody just ask you?
They
what
asked
is your
me,
favorite Christmas movie?
They did a little lightning round, and the question was Wonderful Life or A Christmas Story, to which I replied, A Christmas Story.
Okay, great. So let's talk about some of your favorite Christmas movies.
Okay.
So A Christmas Story is one of them?
Christmas Story. What are my favorite Christmas movies?
So you wouldn't say A Christmas Story?
Yeah. But what else? Why am I, like, I feel like I'm drawing a blank. It's Home Alone. We have a Christmas movie medley on here. That's how much I love Christmas movies.
Does it say which?
Yeah. So, you didn't even know. See, that question is perfect. The Christmas movie medley, which is track number 6, contains Over the Rainbow, which is not technically a Christmas movie, The Wizard of Oz, but they do show it at Christmas time. So we open with that.
They do show it at Christmas time?
Of course. Thanksgiving, Christmas, it's constantly
The Wizard of Oz with Christmas at all.
It's not, but we're a little edgy on this Christmas album. That's why we threw it in there. Also, tying it into the fact that I sang a duet with Lorna Luft on this Christmas album.
Oh, yes.
And to digress for a moment, she wanted to sing Santa Claus is Coming to Town on my Christmas album. She brought that idea to me. I said, oh, that's a nice idea. And she said the reason is because the first time I sang it publicly was on my mother's Christmas special in 1963, which is a huge staple in my Christmas viewing every year, so I don't know why I didn't think of that myself, but I started crying immediately. Somewhere in my memory, Home Alone. That's probably my favorite Christmas movie.
It's a classic. Yeah, that's a good one. How about Elf? Do you like that?
I love Elf.
Elf is one of the
Elf is a great one. But I didn't, that's sort of one that I started recently watching.
Well, yeah, because it's not that old.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't have watched it growing up. But yeah, Christmas Story was a thing for me too, my generation. We were growing up, it was all about a Christmas Story.
Sure.
Okay, and Elf is good. So celebrities, let's talk about that. Okay. So you collaborate with a bunch of celebrities, very amazing. You have celebrities and like icons in theater, music, everything, retweeting you, talking about how much they love your parodies, they love, love, love you. So did this suddenly happen where like you were just like nobody really knew you and then suddenly they're celebrities so enmeshed with you?
Yeah. It did kind of happen like that. It was interesting for me because I started, my sort of followers started in the Broadway community and gay community. Before I was a little, I'm a little more mainstream now because of the nature of what I'm doing. I'm global. Thank you for saying it. I hate to brag. But I was doing web series for BroadwayWorld.com and things like that, and hosting in gay bars by night. So that was sort of my base. And so the first celebrities to reach out to me were, to me, the greatest stars in the world. These were the people who, were on my wall, my bedroom wall in high school. Audra McDonald, Alan Cumming, Kristin Chenoweth.
Yes.
These were the first people to reach out to me. Norm Lewis, who I'm singing with, love duet.
So they reached out to you to do what?
They would reach out, for instance, one of the first times anyone reached out to me, and I remember it very well, was Audra McDonald, because I'm a massive fan. And she sent me a direct message on Twitter asking me to make a video for her husband, Will Swenson, of whom I'm also a fan, for his 40th birthday. Because they were fans of my videos.
Like,
I couldn't. Right.
Okay, so what did Alan Cumming ask you?
Well, Alan Cumming, the first time I met him was when I was doing what you're doing now. And I think it might have been at Sardi's or something. It was like we were at Sardi's or someplace like this, and I was working for BroadwayWorld.com as an interviewer. Aside from doing a web series for them, my comedic sort of on web series, I would also do red carpet events and things like that. So he was opening Macbeth or something on Broadway, and I was just in the press lineup, and I asked him my 2 questions, and before he went to the next person, he said, and I still have the video of this, he said, are you the guy who does those videos? And I was like, yes. And that, like, I mean, things like that really, and I have since been able to tell them this, those are things that really kept me going. Like, when it's 3 o'clock in the morning and I'm editing stuff and you don't know if anyone's watching this, I would think of the time Audra McDonald sent me a DM and told me she was a fan, when Alan Cumming said this, when this one said that. These are things that really fuel my fire. So I'm very grateful to them on many levels.
So right now, it seems like it's just success after success after success for you. Like you are really rolling full speed, but there's gotta be times when you're like you just said, when you're like, I just don't know. Like, is this gonna last, or am I going to not be able to, like, imposter syndrome, does that kick in ever still? I imagine it did at some point.
What,
Do you know what I
what,
mean by imposter syndrome?
No, what does that
Okay,
mean?
so imposter syndrome, and I think almost everybody suffers from it to a certain degree.
People are going to find
It's
me
when
out.
you think, right, it's like people are going to discover that actually I'm not talented, or I don't
Oh, yes,
belong here,
every
or
day.
whatever.
Honey,
You feel like an imposter.
Did I tell you I'm Jewish? I
So
wake
you
up
definitely
every
have
day
it.
and
You
go to
may not
sleep
know
every
it.
night
Okay.
with dealing with that syndrome. Yes. Now, then, more now, more today,
now.
less tomorrow. It ebbs and flows, but that's, I think, just part of the human experience, and especially if you're a creative person anyway. I've come to terms with that's not going away, so I'm just trying to deal with it. But every single video I put out, when I'm editing at 3 o'clock in the morning, before I hit send the next morning, to post it, I have said to myself, this is the one I'm not posting. Because it's not funny, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And to edit yourself, first of all, is a very strange, unnatural experience.
Right.
To sit for hours and stare at yourself, pay attention to every way you say a word or sing a note or whatever. It's really trippy. So that's already weird, and by the end of it, I'm like, I don't know who this guy is on the screen. I don't know, the jokes are not funny. They were funny when I said them. I don't know what I'm doing now. I'm not posting it, but I've learned to shut that down.
Okay, so you say shut.
I
You
said,
see
I
it
said, shut up.
it.
Yes, and I go with my initial instinct. If I thought the idea was funny at 9 a.m. the morning before, then I say, this is the idea. I cement it. I write the script. I write the thing. I say, this is it, and then I take myself out of it as a creative, person with all of these sort of self-confidence issues. I don't allow that person to be a part of the sort of editing producer part of it. So, but yeah, I have it every single day.
So that's good that you're able to do that.
Yeah,
that
I mean,
takes time.
it's a struggle, but
Yes,
you
it's
have
a
to work
struggle.
on it every time.
So, okay, so was there a point where you see certain things that you do, like on screen, and you're like, I'm making that facial expression again, or whatever it is, where you had to get over that too?
I had to get over that, but I've also grown to, appreciate myself more.
Awesome.
Appreciate any imperfections I see. And I've learned also through this process of, putting myself out there so much for years, I realize that a lot of it is in my own head, and things that I hate about myself, or moments that I hate, are the moments oftentimes, that other people enjoy. So I'm like, you really don't know where it's at. Just try to trust your initial instinct, and then shut up.
Right, it's a vulnerability, and it actually works.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't show it to anybody before you post it? No, but not a soul sees it.
No.
Ooh, good
That's
for
another
you.
superstition kind of thing. It's like I don't let anyone see a moment of it.
Okay, very nice. So I'm going to ask you some questions that are a little bit more, sort of more lightning round-ish. They're just for fun.
Okay.
So if you could choose 2 celebrities to be your parents, who would you choose?
Oh my God.
I know you have wonderful, wonderful family. Although your father, you did say,
Oh, well,
was
that's going to be
Donald
another
Trump. But let's not get to
episode.
that. All right, so if you could choose 2.
I would never choose anyone other than my mother, but I would dump her in a minute if Barbara Streisand were available.
Great.
And then for my father, let's just say Norm Lewis, because I have severe daddy issues, but that's also another story.
Okay.
Not for the reasons you think.
What is your weirdest habit?
My weirdest habit. Oh my God. My weirdest habit.
Did I stump you?
Yeah, I feel like I can't think of anything.
Okay. Let's move
Can you
on.
point me in a direction?
Okay, so sometimes you do something when you're maybe alone that you wouldn't do if you knew people were watching. Or maybe it's something that somebody has pointed out to you, somebody close to you, like, what is this that you do?
Oh my God, I feel like this is one of those that I just can't think of.
All right, we're gonna have to save
We'll
that
have to
for
save it
another time.
when you come over next.
What's the last thing you do before you go to sleep at night?
The last thing I do, I listen. Well, I usually fall asleep listening to the radio or like an interview on YouTube.
Okay. And what's the first thing you do when you wake up?
First thing I do is kiss my cat. because his ass is right. Can I say ass?
Yeah.
His ass is right in my. He sleeps like on my shoulder essentially.
That's beautiful. Last question.
Yeah.
Who do people think Randy Rainbow is? And is it the same or different than who Randy Rainbow really is?
Oh, well, that's complex too. I'm going to have an identity crisis right here on your show.
Perfect.
I think that it's interesting because the guy that they see in the videos is me, but it's a heightened version of reality. So I try not. That's something else I try to put out of my head. But I think and I hope that they see who I really am, but also with the understanding that it is heightened for the screen and to make it interesting and sort of because there are people who are interested in meeting me now, which I never had before, and I do have that thing of like I don't want to disappoint people. So sometimes I feel if I didn't sleep the night before or I'm just going to meet someone, I'm not doing a show, I kind of feel like I got to turn it on a little bit.
Yeah.
But I'm sort of becoming comfortable with letting that go too, and I find that people are happy to meet you as genuinely and as authentically as you can be. They appreciate that more than you putting on a happy face and
yes.
all that BS.
I think that's true. And
Right.
by the way, that's my whole viewpoint, my whole perspective as a podcaster too, is we love to watch you on screen. Very entertaining, but at the same time, we want to get to know who you really are.
Right, and it's interesting because I'm such a fan of so many people that I get that concept.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when you're on the opposite side of it, it doesn't occur to you. So you have to remind yourself, like they don't need to see me singing and dancing all the time. They want to see what's behind that, and so it's refreshing to sort of let that come out sometimes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thanks, Randy.
Thank you.
Did you like my talk with Randy? If you did, drop a comment below. Let me know what you liked most about it. And if you like this, you will probably love my talk with Alan Cumming. I will put a link up here in this card and another link down in the description so you can click on that real easily and enjoy my talk with actor and all-around extraordinary person, Alan Cumming. I'm Kara. Please remember to subscribe for more intimate talks with your favorite celebrities. Tap that like button and drop a comment below about what you love most. Okay, so who's your favorite?
This one here?
Yeah. How did this?
So,
Are we stuck?
hi, hello, 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 hello. Hi.
Beautiful.